Mr. Speaker, last September, the Childcare Coalition of Manitoba held a meeting at the Children's Museum in Winnipeg to discuss the crisis in childcare and early childhood education in Manitoba. It's all too clear to many parents who want to work that working is impossible if you can't get childcare. Too many parents are forced to wait too long to get the childcare and early childhood education they so desperately need. I asked the Premier, when the need is so great, why did he only add 1.6% above inflation to the provincial budget for childcare and early childhood education this year?
Thank the member for the question. We have the lowest childcare fees outside of Quebec. We are opening 1,000 spaces this year. And when opened, we will have achieved our goal of 6,500 additional spaces. We are committed to funding 1,000 enhanced nursery school spaces and have in fact exceeded this target. This year, we are funding 28,000 childcare spaces province-wide. This is an increase of 12,000 since 1990, Mr. Speaker. We are providing more supports to early childhood educators. We've increased their wages, and we have provided the first time ever in the history of Manitoba a pension plan for early childhood educators, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, 1,000 is not enough when the need is more than 10,000. Mr. Speaker, a report by the Manitoba Centre for Health Policy has shown that approximately 30% of children, our children, the foundation of our province, in low to middle income families are not ready for school in Manitoba at age 5. And yet this government's record of over 14 years is hopelessly inadequate in addressing the very large shortage of early childhood education and childcare spaces in our province. When will this Premier step up and ensure all children and families in need have access to the early childhood education and childcare they so desperately need?
I do have to point out that the member from River Heights has voted against every single budget that we have expanded childcare in Manitoba. Every single time we have expanded childcare in Manitoba by over 12,000 spaces, by increasing salaries, by bringing in the first ever pension plan, by building new childcare centers attached to schools, in community organizations all across Manitoba, Mr. Speaker. And the executive director of the Manitoba Childcare Association said, with the budget, it's a good day for childcare. Anytime when a government recognizes a need to expand and enhance childcare, I am pleased, Mr. Speaker. I ask the member from River Heights to support the budget to get more childcare spaces to Manitoba families, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, as was discussed at the Childcare Coalition's meeting, we are dealing with a crisis. At last count, there were close to 11,000 children on the waiting list. Addressing this need requires about a 25% increase in funding, while this government is only increasing funding by 1.6% beyond inflation. The government is shortchanging the mothers, fathers, and children in Manitoba. One professional on the panel said she had to close her business and lay off 10 employees because there was no childcare spaces available. When can mothers, fathers, and children of this province expect adequate funding for childcare and early childhood education in Manitoba?
The 1,000 spaces that are being added this year will be added to again with this budget when it passes, and I look forward to the member. Supporting this budget. Wages have gone up 54%. First ever pension plan for childcare workers. An additional 70 spots to train more early childhood educators. Mr. Speaker, record investment in capital and facilities for daycare centers. 12,000 more spots. We know there's more to do, Mr. Speaker. We have a commitment to rolling out more childcare spaces, more training spaces, more investments in childcare centers, Mr. Speaker. And every single time we've done that, the member from River Heights has voted against it.
Shame.
I ask him to finally be consistent. Vote for the budget that expands childcare in Manitoba. Stop voting for the Tories who want to cut it, Mr. Speaker.